Episode 72 this week, the Cloud Minders. This one was weird. It was a little bit weird. Once again, the Enterprise goes to a planet to get a drug they need to save another planet. There's a plague on some other planet, but they have to get the Zionite to make the proper drug to cure the plague. So they stop at this planet. It has a planet side, and then there's a city they built in the clouds. So they're gonna go get the Zionite. They get instructions to go to the city in the clouds, but Kirk's like, that's not where they mine the Zionite. I'm going to go directly to the mining site because we have no time to spare. And he tells Uhura to contact the council, let them know they're skipping any formalities and dignitary receptions. They're going straight to the Zionite, grabbing it and going. So he and Spock beam down to the planet. They're looking around. They're like, there's no Zionite here. What's happening? And they're looking around. They get jumped by a bunch of thugs with weird-looking daggers. So they're in this brawl. And finally, the leader of the entire shebang shows up with a couple of guards wearing a robe. And he sicks the guards on these troglodytes, they call them. They run off. Kirk and Spock are alright, but they want the Zionite. And he's like, well, I don't have the Zionite. It's been stolen by thieves. And they're like, well, we want the Zionite. And he's like, let's go to the Cloud City, and I'll work on getting your Zionite. And Kirk's like, that's a great idea. Even though he had no time to spare seconds earlier, they go to the Cloud City. Spock's completely taken by this place. He says it's the best anti-grav structure in the entire universe that he's ever come across. He's totally fascinated by it. They meet the daughter of the leader of the whole place, and Spock's taken with her. Kirk goes to Betty Bye. They're like, why don't you take a nap? And he's like, sure. And he goes to Betty Bye. Spock's talking to this girl, the daughter of the leader of the place, starts telling her all about Ponfar, which was, of course, taboo to discuss with off-worlders last season. Couldn't discuss it with anyone that wasn't a Vulcan, and they hesitated even when it was a Vulcan. And he's explaining the whole Ponfar situation to this stranger that he hadn't met before, which was an odd choice for Spock. While they're doing that, one of the troglodytes sneaks into the Cloud City. She's changed into a different outfit, but it was the one that attacked Kirk and Spock before. She sneaks into the bedroom, goes to kill Kirk. He stops her. They struggle a bit. He makes some, 2020 inappropriate jokes, takes her outside, and they're going to punish her. So they hook her up to some device that, shoots laser beams at her and makes her scream. Kirk demands they stop that. And the guy's like, well, then how do we get the Zionite? Kirk's like, not that way. We got time. We can wait. When he didn't earlier. But now he's got all the time he needs. So he demands they stop that. Another troglodyte showed up. They suspected he was with one of the guys that stole the Zionite. Before they could get anywhere with him, he jumped off the balcony, plummeted to the planet below. You're like, well, there goes Wile E. Coyote heading down to the planet, apparently. He was done. Kirk and Spock, they go back to the planet. They get concerned about the Zionite. They try to track it themselves. So they try to hatch a plan to get the Zionite, going around the official channels. They do not. They come to find out that the Zionite in its pure form gives off some sort of gas which causes the mental faculties to regress. And so their theory is now the people on the Cloud City that get all the profit of the people on the planet whose mental faculties aren't there due to the Zionite have some sort of imbalance here, and they're concerned about that. But it's a Federation world, but Kirk's like, well, I'll interfere anyway. I'll sweep the Prime Directive under the rug, and he does. and he ends up beaming down to the cave with the girl that attacked him earlier after he breaks her out of detention. They go to the cave to dig the Xenite. He's not getting anywhere with this girl, so he has the leader of the planet beam to the ship and then beam down to the cave, and then Kirk starts ordering him around and shoving the guy and getting demanding, and after a while the troglodyte, whose mental faculties were supposed to not be all there, is the sane one, and Kirk's gone insane. And she's like, it's the Xenite, you've been affected, even though he'd been around it for way less than she had. Never explained. So Kirk's gonna kill the leader of this planet. The leader of the planet's trying to fight off Kirk. They're going at it. And the troglodyte grabs the communicator, calls for help. Spock and McCoy beam up the captain and the girl and the leader. And they're like, see, it was the Xenite gas. It's affected you, Captain Kirk. And he's like, oh, okay. And then they find their Xenite. They hang around, look around the planet, and discuss their day. And then they go off. Made no sense. They were in a huge hurry. And then they just lollygagged the rest of the episode. Captain Kirk took a nap. Minutes earlier he said they had no time to waste, not a second to spare. And he takes a nap. Spock's telling girls about Ponfar when that was taboo just season before that. No explanation why it was no longer taboo. Some interesting notes in this one. The two female guest stars, they were done acting by the age of 30. Both of them quit around the same time by the age of 30. No information I found explained why they both quit acting, but they did. So, they did a few more things after Star Trek and they were done. There's also the second episode within the last few that had pretty much the central plot of they had to go to one planet to get something to make a drug to save another planet. They must have really liked that in season 3. But pretty much episode 72